Hey guys, I'm Jenny with Life Balanced. I'm a super busy working mom trying to survive a chaotic house, 2 young kids, 2 dogs, just busy, trying to help other moms like me by sharing my health and wellness hacks along the way. I'm just trying to live a life that's balanced, body and mind, and here to help you do that too. So today I'm going to share with you a recipe that I'm trying for the first time. It's lasagna soup off of a website, Tastes Better from Scratch. I'm going to modify it just a little bit, but I'll take you along the way, and I hope you enjoy. 2 teaspoons parsley. I'm using dry. The recipe calls for fresh, and it would be 2 tablespoons fresh, but I'm just using dry because that's all I have here. A little extra. For oregano, 1/2 teaspoon. I like my spices, so I go a little bit heavy. And then basil, 1 teaspoon. Actually, I go a little light on this because I'm using tomato basil sauce here. The recipe actually calls for marinara, but this is what I have here today. So I'm just gonna go just a tiny bit shy. That's it for the dry seasonings there. All right guys, I'm going to turn on my big pan here. Typically I would do everything in one big pot, but today I'm actually going to be grounding up 1 pound of the beef, 1 pound of the sausage, all in one pot. It'll just be quicker doing it in a larger pot versus something smaller. The recipe itself only calls for 1/2 beef, 1/2 sausage, but since I'm browning, I'm just going to do it all together and then save the extra for a recipe for a different day. So I'm gonna let this warm up a little bit. I'm not even gonna put any oil because there's gonna be enough fat on these to get it started. I hate just raw meat on my hands. So anytime I can just dump it right in the pan and go is good for me. That's honestly why I'm not going halvesies on these. There's no sizzle here, so you can hear I didn't necessarily let my pan heat up. I'll wash my hands. Okay, this is salt and pepper to taste. So I use Himalayan salt just as a healthier alternative. This is just some fresh peppercorns that I ground up. Just kind of depends on what I'm cooking, if I use already ground pepper or if I do my own. Now, while that gets browning, I am going to chop the onion and the garlic. I'm going to use my split here. That looks a little gnarly, so I'm going to pull that top layer off. Let's see if this angle is a little bit better. This calls for 1 yellow onion. Tears are going right now, but I feel like I need a larger cutting board sometimes. This is very nice. So I think I'm ready for a new one. I've had this cutting board for, I don't know, maybe 12 years. Okay, I need a little. Now typically when I do any kind of lasagna, I actually only do ground beef. So I normally do not put any sausage in it. I'm not a huge sausage fan. I like it from time to time, but it's a little bit of a strong flavor for me, which is why I go with the sweet. My husband loves spice, so he would prefer I go with the extra hot. Garlic. It calls for 3 cloves. I'll see what we got here. We like our garlic, so I'll probably put in a little bit more. I'm sure that one's looking good. There was a little small one that just wasn't worth my time. Sometimes you just gotta know when to cut your losses. Got it. Just cracking it open here so I can peel it. It makes it much easier. This one's like a twin or something. Now I know some people like to do their ingredients first before they even start cooking. I really just kind of do a mix of both. I try to just get everything out so it's right in front of me. I've got ADHD, so sometimes it's just easier to get all the ingredients out first, and then, you know, I enjoy the challenge of bouncing around. So I've got this browning, do my onions, do my garlic. It also can be kind of time efficient too if you feel like you're on a more time crunch. I bought this online, this little guy. I've never used it before. I'll give this a try. Oh. Well, it bent. I don't know if you can see that. No longer flat. All right, my review of this, I didn't know that I'm reviewing products, is that this sucks. Trash. Now, one thing I didn't talk about is the beef. When I can, I do use grass-fed. It's more clean, so that is one of my health goals. I know not everybody can eat like that, and I understand. But we just do the best we can when we can. You know, I'm a fan of the Atomic Habits. Of course, I can't remember. Terrible with names, so I don't remember the guy's name. I'll put it below, but you know, 1% better every day. So maybe not every day, but when I can make a better choice, I do. All right, we are getting close with this. I'm gonna let this go while I finish this garlic. I'm actually gonna go ahead and turn this pot on, because once I'm done grounding this here, I'm gonna go ahead and I'll drain off the beef, move what I'm actually using for the recipe, and then save, like I said, the extra that I'm doing here. That's gonna be for another recipe. I'm gonna do the soup, obviously, in this pot. That's not bad. Okay, this is looking good. So now I'm just going to kind of go through and break up the bigger bits. I'm actually going to turn it down a little bit, because once I take this out, we're going to cook our onions and garlic in this pot, and garlic doesn't like a super hot pan. So I may not physically drain it. I might just wipe it out here. And I'm gonna get this going just on low, just to give me a warm pot here, even though I'm gonna continue to do stuff in here. I don't wanna shock it from going into this pan to this pan. So I'm just gonna get in here. That's probably enough, because I do want to save a little bit to cook my onions and garlic in, because that's just flavor. Alright, let's see what's about half here. That's probably a little bit more than half. This is what I'm keeping for another time. And these pans are so heavy. They're so nice. Not a whole lot of grease left actually, so I am using a little bit of avocado oil in there. Good and hot. Onions, yeah. These need to go for 5 minutes. While this cooks, I am gonna need my tomato paste soon, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this open. Okay, actually, while this cooks, I'm gonna go ahead and do like the cheese filling. The filling is 10 ounces ricotta cheese. So, my mother always makes lasagna with cottage cheese, and lasagna is one of my absolute favorite recipes. So, we use cottage cheese in this house. That's the trick here. So I'm going to use cottage cheese in this filling. Now, I'm not going to measure it. It's 16 ounces, so we know it's more than half. Okay. And then a cup mozzarella. Turn that down a little bit. All right. A cup mozzarella. There's 2 cups in here, so I'm just going to be using about half. Oh, great texture. Half cup grated Parmesan. I am going to measure this because since it's grated, it's a little bit harder for me to tell here. My onions are doing okay in here. Now it's time to do the garlic. It seems a little dry in there, so I'm actually going to add just a little bit more of this. Burnt garlic is no bueno. And I only browned the onions in this pan to use some of the fat from the beef. So here in just a few minutes, I'll transfer it in here and get all the rest of the ingredients together. Back to this guy. Alrighty. Get this all stirred together. Ooh. Yum. It's not really sticking that great. A little bit of that. And actually, we could do a little water. Shh, don't tell anyone. Okay. Alrighty. Now we're just going to make the transfer here. Now we do the tomato paste. Alright. 2 tablespoons. And just eyeball it there. Whoa! Whoa. Whoa. 24 ounces. It says homemade marinara sauce. You know, sure, that would be great, wouldn't it? In there. And water. I'll put just a tiny in there. Get it out of the pan. Spices. This was the parsley, oregano, and basil. Put that in. Recipe called for chicken broth. I have bone broth. You know, it's got a lot of health benefits at the moment. I can't think of what they are, but I buy it anyway. And it's 7 cups, and this is 4 cups, so It's a good thing I have another one that's similar. It calls for 7. This is 4. More bone broth. I'm glad I had this in here, or else I wouldn't have had enough. This I'm gonna measure out because I need 3 of the 4 cups that are in there. I'm going a little shy of the 3 cups because I'd already added a little bit of water in there. All right, now I'm gonna turn the heat up here, get it kicking, get it going. Okay, let me get back to this here. You know what I'm gonna do? When I do stuffing for my lasagna, I also add parsley in here. So, and pepper. This isn't part of the recipe, but this is how I do it in lasagna. So I'm really just trying to do what I can to make this cheese the same. Since I'm using dry and this isn't getting cooked, I'm gonna actually give it a little break it up a little bit better to kind of awaken it a little bit. I think I'm going a little bit more here. A little bit more parsley. I'm just eyeballing it, people. Now, I'm not putting any salt in here because of the Parmesan cheese. All right, guys, I'm going to just clean up a little bit while I wait for this to boil, and then I will be back. Okay, we are now up to a boil here, and it is time to add in our lasagna noodles. The recipe says to break them up into 4 pieces. So, and we need 9. Whoa, it's dangerous. I'm gonna turn it down just a smidge. It's hot. These pots actually hold heat really well. Now this says to boil to Poland and reduce heat. I don't know what that means. Is that al dente? I don't know. We'll start with like 6 minutes. Hey Google, set a timer for 6 minutes. Now I will taste it while we're in here. Oh man. Oh, that's pretty good. Okay guys, we are almost done here. You can see that the noodles absorbed a lot of that bone broth that was in there, which is good. I was a little worried that it was going to be too soupy. I like a more hearty, thick soup. Actually, I don't love soup. I like more chili textures, things like that. We're obviously trying this for the first time because I love lasagna, and lasagna is way harder and more hands-on. And I like a little bit more hands-off most of the time. While I was off camera, I actually did go ahead and add a little bit more salt, garlic powder, a little bit more oregano and basil, just through some taste testing. And I think it is tasting really great. For the noodles, I think the noodles are probably about around 10 minutes. I've just been setting a timer and tasting them. Obviously, it's to whatever your preference is. Also, the recipe does call for spinach. I'm gonna leave it out tonight because it's the first time we're trying it. Obviously, trying to get the kids to see if they like it. They won't look at it if there's anything green in it. So for right now, we're going without the spinach, but probably if I were making this for just me and my husband, I would go ahead and add the spinach just for the extra nutrients. Okay, here is the cheese toppers here. Off camera, I did add just a little bit more water to it, give it a little taste test. I did put a little bit of salt in there and some extra pepper, and it's tasting pretty good. So now I'm going to dish it up. All right, guys, that is it. We love the soup, and I'm so excited to try it again. Maybe next time with the spinach, we'll see. But if you have any recipes that you like to try, any of your favorites, leave them in the comments below. And also, if you try the recipe, let me know if you like it, and we'll see you next time.